I fundamentally think the most powerful answers to my biggest prayers of what to do with my life and why is my life falling apart and how come I can't keep my shit together and why is life so difficult and what's the meaning of all this is encapsulated best for me, and I want to stress for me, in community service. And there's a lot of power in both of those words. We talk about community in the mental health space all the time. We talk about the interdependence of communities and how we have each other's backs, and my thriving and my success is the thriving and success of those who are fortunate enough to be in association with me, and vice versa. The flip side of that coin is absolutely the case, which is the thriving of those in my community, the success of those in my community, the happiness of those in my community reflects and impacts me and makes my life better as a result. And so this interdependence exists. And then the word service, which has been such a major theme for me in the personal development and in the self-help and in the work that I've done to take step towards the man I've always wanted to be, in the literature that keeps being reinforced as one of the most fundamental and powerful tools for a powerful, exciting life, a life that you live, a life with purpose, which is service. Right? Being of service to others. Even when I was learning about business and marketing and sales and enterprise, they would talk about service in the sense that if you want your bills taken care of, just go out there and help other people take care of their bills, and yours will take care of themselves. It was that simple. It was that service mentality of going out and giving, going out being generous, going out and making the lives of the people in your community better through service, which in turn just showers you with abundance and love and joy. And so, when I've been thinking about my life philosophy and my personal philosophy, the theme community service keeps coming back to me. And it doesn't come as a surprise. I'm just paying more and closer attention to it today than I ever have, because my dad was a police officer for 30 years. And he was serving the community. And he grew in his leadership capacity and his influence in the community and the skills he could develop in order to help the community's lives be better and thrive. And after his career, even when he stopped getting paid in that respect, he joined community service in Toronto, and he did that work for another 5-10 years, so another decade. And you could just see how it's unentangleable of his example for me as a man, of the type of person I look up to and admire and want to take steps towards emulating because of that admiration and pride. So there's that element, and then there's just every actual notch on my belt and experience that I've had in community that I've been part of has been reinforcing and teaching me one of Jim Rohn's major philosophies, which is don't ask what you're getting paid here, ask who you're becoming here. He said on the job, the major question to ask isn't what am I getting paid? The major question on the job to ask is what am I becoming? What skills am I developing? What character am I embodying? What kind of man am I being? Right? If you're listening to this as a woman, what kind of woman am I becoming? Or what kind of person am I becoming? These are powerful questions, and this is what he said is the majors. The minors is asking, what are you getting paid here? It's not important. It's just minor and secondary to the major, which is who am I becoming? And that's why I love the community service model. That's why when I had an opportunity to be a participant in Toastmasters, I was asking myself, who am I becoming here? And in a leadership and communication development program with Toastmasters, I grew over the course of 2-3 years as a leader, as a communicator. And I wasn't getting paid anything because I was volunteering my time and my energy, because I was asking the question that Jim Rohn imparted me, which is who am I becoming here? And that's why I want to tie it into this concept of community service. Right? We talked about the word community, we talked about the word service, and together it's an opportunity for you to take ownership of who you're becoming and to contribute and be generous and not even ask, what am I getting? Because in the short term, what you're getting is the good feeling of making a contribution, the good feeling of being present. It's like Ian reminds me, my roommate, he says, a lot of people don't get inspired by the idea of exercise because people that talk about exercise says, imagine, being able to play with your grandkids at 70, 80 years old. And it's like, for a lot of people, that's so far out and so foreign and so disconnected from reality that they couldn't even imagine what it would be like, 50 years. So they don't get off the couch thinking 50 years from now. But what does get a lot of people off the couch, he says, is the fact that after you go on a run, or even in the process of running or exercising, you feel good immediately. And they forget that they feel good immediately. And so my emphasis here is that not only will you immediately feel the benefits of the community service, because you'll be in the process of giving and growing and being present, but when we stop asking ourselves, and when I stopped asking myself, what am I getting paid here? And instead started focusing on who am I becoming here, Toastmasters became a high priority for me, became one of the majors, because it was an opportunity to grow as a leader and to be in service in a community. And then beyond that, it was Jack.org and youth mental health education. And now it's Circle Up, and you can keep seeing how all of these different communities provide opportunity for service. And now being in community service, my life's revolutionizing, and my personal philosophy is adjusting and becoming more empowering. And as a person, the skills that I'm developing around communication and leadership and relationships is transforming. It's going in the direction of the man that I've always wanted to be, and in the direction of the men that I admire most, men like my dad, men that were making community service an important part of their life. So if you've ever wondered what are some of the benefits of being in community, of being in service, of participating in community service, it's really about who are you becoming here? What kind of qualities of a man do you want to embody and take action on? And there's many, many ways to grow as a man. There's many, many ways to take steps towards the man you've always wanted to be. But for me, one of the biggest solutions, one of the biggest answers to the question that I always ask myself, which is, what's the point of all this, is tied into that Jim Rohn question of who am I becoming here? The major question on the job to ask. And finding the answer in service and finding the answer in community. And I'm forever grateful for the example of my dad and for different communities in my life giving me opportunities to step up and grow and lead. Because I'm a better man for it, and the world is a better place for it. Wanted to ask you if any of that resonated. Feel free to send me a DM. It's Instagram, Jonathan F. Andrews. And you can tune into the Circle Up podcast where we discuss masculinity and leadership and men's mental health. If you feel inspired and want to chime in on the conversation, be part of the conversation, and give us some feedback on guests you'd like to hear in the future, guests you've really appreciated, and what you're getting away from the show and what you got away from this message today. So appreciate y'all listening, tuning in. Excited for the next episode. Peace and love from Medellin, Colombia. And we'll talk to you soon. Ciao.